we're gonna get into some geek stuff. Don had some stuff to say about Superman.
Superman.
Some
I
more stuff to say.
I fully intended to get on the discussion with the Batman shirt on. I had it earlier. You can go look at my son's Facebook and see the picture. But no, I changed it a little bit late. But got a couple things to talk to you about Superman. So first, the kind of debate thing, arguably, okay, and I think uh, it's pretty clear. Superman is the most recognized superhero, uh, I want to say, across the entire world, and arguably the most popular. And no shade to Batman and stuff like that. He would be second, really, even to that. And I know a lot of people say Spider Man. So we'll get into this, but I'll tell you why I say that. I'll tell you why I say it, where my empirical evidence is surveys, because I watched the Family Feud compilation of superhero things. They were asking questions about superheroes, and it was Superman was the number one answer every single time. Batman was normally right underneath him, and it might be Spider Man. The Hulk would show up sometimes. They said Captain America like four times as an answer. Didn't show up one time on any of those
Yeah.
surveys they had. I was like, whoa, that's pretty interesting there. Wonder Woman also showed up pretty high a couple of times, but Superman was just always number one answer, number one answer. Maybe it's just America. Maybe it's just America, the number one. And I know that Batman like has so many different runs and he outsells them, but this latest change to number one seemed to have gone off the rails. Right? I quit trying to collect anything of it. So, but anyway, you have any response to that? Just to begin the cultural war.
So I would as much as Batman is my favorite hero, I'm not a huge I don't dislike Superman, and I've said this before. He's just always been a slightly boring character for me. Not that Superman is a bad character. He has his interesting moments in great comic books. I have some of them. Batman has just always been for me. There's just there's a certain realism. It's a comic book. None of it is
Yeah.
real, but there's a certain realism to Batman that I've always loved. But I won't I'm not naive. The Superman logo is probably one of the most recognized logos globally. There's probably not many countries you can go into. You could probably go into the poorest of the most third worldist country on a planet Earth and you have a Superman shirt on, and some little kid is gonna say Superman. So I won't
Yeah.
deny that. I won't deny that. And I would say it'd be hard for me to argue that Spider-Man is number two. I think most people, most comic book fans would agree Superman and Batman are one and two. Now we could debate, there's probably some debate on which one is one and which one is two, but I don't think
Hmm.
I don't think it is personally. I don't think it's debatable that Spider-Man is number two, but I do think Spider-Man is solid number three. I think it
Okay.
would be Superman. I'm okay with Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Captain America. I think I would put the Incredible Hulk before Captain America
Recognizable. Yeah.
as far as recognizable heroes. But and maybe I'm bugging. I would say because of the MCU, Iron Man is
Hmm.
definitely a recognized hero, but I'd say that's recent. That's because of the MCU.
Hmm.
So one,
Sure.
two, and three, Superman, Batman. I'd say Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, but that's just me though.
All right. And I showed you in a picture that I have. I'll pull it up real quick. The I guess it's the first six issues, right, of Absolute Batman. I've not read this yet though, so I do not know what to think about it at all. Um,
it's good.
I
It's good.
everybody says that, and that's great. So,
It's
but I
really
also
good.
have, and you saw this, is Absolute Superman,
Absolute
which
Superman.
you have said is absolute trash or something to that effect.
I didn't. Okay, so let me redeem myself.
Okay.
It's not trash, but because I am not the biggest Superman guy, Absolute Superman didn't jump out to me. The book itself, like visually, the book was pleasing. The story was okay. I just wasn't wild. I'm a
Hmm.
Batman guy, so Absolute Batman, I was like, oh yeah, this is Snyder is killing it. He is killing it. Absolute Batman is dope, and you have to go into it knowing this is an alternate universe.
Hmm.
Obviously, things are different. The Batman, this is not him. This is a different Batman. Some of
Right.
the same characteristics, but definitely different.
All right. And since I haven't read the Absolute Batman, I did want to go into the Superman one because I think one of your criticism was this is not Superman, and and I kind of want to get the second book to see where they're going because to me it's not super defined yet because I'm still trying to figure out what the thing is. Like the suit he wears, he talks to it, and it has it does certain things which I'm not very clear. I wasn't, at least when I read through it, it wasn't super clear. And of course, it goes back and forth between his time on Krypton, and he doesn't spend much time on the Kent farm. So there's definitely a difference in the origin, and he's uh, maybe a teenager even when he leaves Krypton. I forget. It tells the years because he was flying through
Yeah, I have
space
to
for a
read through it
number of
again.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, so he's
it's been a couple
definitely
months.
older, and and the Krypton part of the story is a little. It's let's say if we compared it to Man of Steel, the movie, you can see some definite different things being said, and uh, I don't know. It, at times, I felt like it was getting too political. It's at certain things, but also I could see a society behaving the way that they're saying that it was. So I was like, okay,
Yeah,
I can buy
yeah,
into
it's
this.
believable.
It's
Yeah, it
okay,
was
and
believable.
yeah, and not to. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody other than saying that one thing that or two things, I guess. Um, but yeah, it's like I'm not sure where it's going yet, and I'm not so turned off on it that I would not read the rest of it or the next part, but I'm not like engaged in it. I went through and reread John Burns, remake in the '80s, and I was reading that. That was what I was into, and I love it, and nostalgia or whatever. But it's still just a great story and a great
John Burns is a master
retelling.
artist and storyteller, so it's kind of hard to. It's
Mm.
I don't want to. I wouldn't want to compare too many artists and writers to him. Not that artists aren't good. I'm not saying that, but this the combo artist writer combo.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that's just like, yeah, it's hard to beat this. It's hard to beat that. And I guess what you pointed out was where I was with that first Superman book. It just nothing about it said, okay, come back for issue number two.
Okay.
When I read Absolute Batman number one, it was like, oh,
That's why I bought it
I
this way.
have to read. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like I
and
don't want one
I should
comic.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have. And typically, so I haven't consistently collected Absolute Batman because my collecting habit now has been if I read a series and I read like 5 books and I'm like, okay, this is good, I stop and I start buying the trade paperbacks. That's what I do. That's what I've done with Transformers. I got the first 2 trade paperbacks for Skybound's Transformers, and Lord willing, at some point, I'm gonna buy the third one because those books are fantastic. Those are Don. I'm telling you, if you want to read something that's gonna keep you engaged and knock your socks off, Skybound's Transformers run,
Yeah.
Energon
You
Universe,
told me that before. Yeah.
man,
Hmm.
man, that's some good. The art, the reading, the action. 100% high octane the entire time. Never lets his foot off the gas.
Hmm. All right, so let's see here. Not really much more to say about this then. And I may or may not go back to it. I'm kind of at that. I'm like, I don't know where I'm with it. I can do without it. You know, um, but if I do go
So
back
and
to it
that's
and it turns out it really catches on, uh, then I'll let you know. Something about it later on. But
and that's the issue for me. The fact that it didn't grab you right away
okay,
is so when I said it doesn't feel like Superman, it wasn't necessarily the story. Like even though I'm not a Superman guy, I can recognize when I read certain Superman comics, like, oh, I get it. I get it. Like if I was a Superman guy, I'm coming back. Like it's a good story.
yeah,
The absolute Superman just I was like, this doesn't feel like a Superman. Like Superman is this big, like this is
mm,
this is the guy, the guy. I think they probably should have put, I don't know. I was gonna say maybe they should have put Snyder on Absolute Superman, but I don't know who else they could have got for Absolute Batman.
yeah. I do agree with you. The artwork is really good.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but for somebody that's a Superman fan, and like it's focused more. It's got a lot of focus on Krypton. I mean, it is telling the Krypton story the whole way through almost. So
a lot more than you typically get.
yeah, like in Burns' run, it was like the first, and then it came in later, but he got right into Superman. Second thing was Lois Lane, and then Lex Luthor. He went
Right.
right into Superman. So um, it has a lack of focus, I guess, on Superman. It's kind of making him more mysterious, which could be good. I mean, that could be intriguing to some people. I'll just have to follow it through, and of course, Lois is a little different. Uh, uh, but and it has the Peacemaker core, and so Peacemaker, whatever his name is, John something or another, Smith,
John
I guess.
Cena.
Yeah, John Cena, John Smith, Jason. I don't know
Oh,
what his
you
name
talking
is.
about the actual
The
character?
actual character, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Oh
this
yeah. My bad.
crew of Peacemaker. I guess they show up in. Well, they show up toward. I don't know. I want to say it's in the first one, but it's a little bit later. More. Um, but it kind of that character is not a great character. It's a really terrible character, in fact. So anyway, I don't know what they're following with that because Peacemaker is a really obscure thing. So
I
um,
understand why people like Peacemaker. He's not my cup of tea, but it's kind of like Superman. Superman's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I understand why people like him.
you're talking about the James Gunn version, which is all there is with the two
Well,
two seasons and the one
I
show.
mean, just Peacemaker in general, like just him as a character. There's certain
That's what I'm saying. I
characters.
don't know. I don't
Yeah,
remember him being in anything at all. And when I
let me
looked up
see.
his history, it was like old, obscure, and I don't know of him as anything. He's not part of Argus and part of. I don't know him as part of the Suicide Squad, but I never followed the Suicide Squad
Me neither. I can't
until
say.
James Gunn did this movie and then the two seasons.
Says he first appeared in
Yeah.
Charlton Comics and Fighting Five number 40, 1966. Let me see. DC acquisition. In the mid 1980s, DC Comics acquired Charlton Comics character, incorporated him into the universe, but reinterpreted him. Okay, so I guess maybe in the 80s, I'll have to fact check all of this. I don't know. I'm just doing a
hmm
cursory look. But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know
I
much
looked at
about.
his history and it just seemed it's minor is what it is, and
Yeah.
I I just don't know him as a major character, but he's more major in this, whatever version they're going with and heading toward. And of course, it's all something to find out because it's a different universe. I don't know if Absolute Batman deals with stuff over in Metropolis. I get it's not necessarily
I
Metropolis
think
either.
they I think they do. I think they kind of interact later because like I haven't kept up with the whole Absolute universe.
Hmm.
I think I got Absolute Wonder Woman number one and two, or maybe just number one, and Absolute Superman number one. And those are two books that I just couldn't really didn't grab me per se, so I
Got
didn't
Wonder
really pick
Woman
them up.
also.
Yeah, I may pick up the trade paperbacks just to see if maybe there's something I missed. But Absolute Batman is the only one I've really followed. But following some different comic book channels that talk about these, I want to say they do interact. I know Absolute Batman at some point is interacting with Absolute Wonder Woman,
Hmm.
and
I
I
saw
think they're
that.
forming the Absolute Justice League.
Okay.
So yeah, I haven't. Again, I am not the authority. I've not kept up with this, for the people out there, so I cannot tell you exactly. It's it is. I don't go to the comic book store every Wednesday,
Hmm.
so I got priorities and other things going on in life, so I'm not going every Wednesday. I try to keep up as much as possible. Now, there's some that I will just buy digital copies if I'm like, no, I'm keeping up with this. I'll buy digital copies and then get the physical books later on.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
but
if
yeah,
you had collected a few issues of the first one, first printing, because there are like 17 printings of the absolute runs, so of Batman, not
they are
necessarily the other
popular.
ones. He's
They are
definitely the
popular.
one that's very popular. But I've heard good things about it, so like I said, I'll get into it a little later. I decided
Snyder's
to
a great
hold off
writer.
on Wonder Woman for a while. I saw an absolute Flash and Green Lantern, I think, um,
I have
in some
Absolute
trades.
Flash number two or number one. Because there's a bunch of number ones that I bought when they came out because I was like, I'm gonna check this out. And that one, I'm gonna be honest with you, I got a backlog of books that I haven't read yet. That's one of them
Right?
that I've had for a
Me too.
while, and it's just sitting in my stash, and I'm like, I'll get to it at some point.
Yep. Some point.
Other stuff going on. Did you say? I don't know if you said you did say you saw the Mario movie. You saw it several times.
I saw it twice. Okay, so my story is that if I eat something, I go into a diabetic coma or something and fall asleep. Generally speaking, so I went to the first time after having eaten at Popeyes. I told you about that, and of course y'all laughed at me and said, "Of course you're not going to be awake in a few minutes. You're
Can't
done."
eat Popeyes, then go see a movie.
But I watched it. I watched it and got through a good portion of it. I guess I did fall asleep or in and out sort of asleep and woke up toward the end and got to see the final thing. So I went back and watched it with Carson and got through everything that I had fallen asleep in and started falling asleep toward the final battles and stuff because I already knew what was going on. Um,
Right.
and I've not revisited the first movie, so I feel like I want to do that, and but I have the same kind of feeling as Tyrone Magnus has said. There's fun for it, but the first one was a better movie,
I, c-
according to the way
I
he
can agree
said
with
it.
that.
And the
No, no,
way that
I can agree with that.
yeah, the way that I would say it is just like there's a lack of story in the movie. There's a plot, there's a thing to do, there's an adventure to go on, but depth of storytelling is missing, like meaningfulness in a lot of stuff. At the same time, I'm thinking, how would you make the characters super meaningful? It's not like
I,
necessarily the Lion King, which is
right,
animated kids movie. It's got what it needs to have, but it has a
right,
really deep story to it, and it's told, very quickly too. Same thing with things like Inside Out or something like that, that that have a depth to them that this is lacking, and this is very much nostalgia, the you know video game references, Easter eggs and stuff like that. It's full of stuff like that. It I don't know if it's fuller or not than like Space Jam 2. That was chock full of moments, is everything WB. But it was an absolutely dreadful movie, um, in every other way.
I
But I
haven't.
didn't
I
I didn't
not
dislike
seen
it.
Space Jam 2.
Yeah, if you did watch it, there's this huge crowd with like all kinds of characters and stuff, and so you could
Okay.
pause it and sit there and spend forever just picking things out and saying,
Looking
"Oh
through.
yeah, I see
Yeah.
this, I see that." Another thing that has a whole lot of different cameo type things. Player One, Ready Player One,
Oh
is
yeah, I
full of
love Ready Player
stuff,
One. I
and I
did
need to
not
revisit
like.
that movie too.
So read the book. Read the
Yeah, I
book.
need
I
to do
have
that.
Ready Player One, and I am telling you, Ernest Klein. I've said this on my channel several times. He is probably one of the best sci-fi writers in many years. I read that one and Armada, two excellent sci-fi books. Eh, Ready Player One, if you read the book, you even though I did not like how they handled the first challenge in the movie, but I also understand because that first challenge, when you read the book, it's like, yeah, there's no way they could have. They would have spent hours just on this. Like the only way
Hmm.
to do this is to have a show. So it almost that first challenge almost had to be changed. You could not do it. Well, let me take that back. You could do it faithful to the book. You would have to shorten a lot and move really quickly. And this is where I'm going to tell you what I think of Mario. I think Mario did exactly what it needed to do. Me and Ezekiel talked about this. Like Mario games don't have the deepest plots.
Right? Yeah.
They're not super deep. Like the princess did something, Bowser got her again. No, but they're so much fun. The games are so much fun. The theater that we went in, we all three went to see it. It was filled with families and their kids.
Hmm.
And those kids, we all, adults, kids, all laughed at the exact same times. And I was like, you know what? Smart on them. They made a broad appeal movie for
Hmm.
families and adults. It was fun. It wasn't super deep, didn't need it to be.
Yeah.
It was fun. And I'm like, yeah, they're going to make a bunch of money. I don't know if they're going to make as much as the first one. They might because it's been doing really good. It's I think Nintendo understood, look, we don't got to make some super intricate plot. Kids
Hmm.
love Mario, they love the character, there's other characters they love. Make it fun. Just make it fun.
Yeah.
Don't overburden this movie to be something it doesn't have to be. Now Zelda, that movie's going to have an intricate plot. That movie
Right, it's
has to
kind
have
of
an
what I
intricate
was
plot.
thinking. Is there's other properties, and what a rumor I heard, and I think I heard this a while ago, was they're going to cross the worlds of Sonic and Super Mario. I'm like, no, don't do that. This
Yeah.
Sega, and
Yeah, I don't
it doesn't make any sense to me. They got
I mean
plenty of stuff to do with
yeah.
Super Mario or with Nintendo. And I don't disagree with that. I do think, of course, because we have examples of it, that there's a way to do a story and make a story, but somebody would have to write it, and it would just have to be so great that they're like, yes, we can do this and still include it while doing all the other fun stuff. And I do think it's possible. Um, uh, and I'm wondering now, I'm kind of thinking about like Sonic, whether or not that falls in this range. It has more of a kind of story to tell, I think. But at the same time, it seems like as they progressed in the movies, they've gone more toward what this last Super Mario has been too. It's like just more. This is game, and just enjoy the game, have fun. It's silly, and go with that. And I don't have a problem with either one of them. It's not something that I'm going to watch a multitudes of times because there's just nothing to. Uh, well, I didn't play all the games, so I'm not going to be digging for all of the Easter eggs. Is one
So that
thing. Some people's
Don,
going to
and
have
this is
fun with that.
where, yeah, this is where my kids are older now. And they were like, oh my goodness, I remember playing Super Mario Galaxy and this. And then, oh, I remember playing this. And I'm like, yo, they did exactly what they needed to do.
Yeah,
They reached their target audience. And I think that's they understood. We know our target audience. So when I like there's a lot of older people in our generation, Tyrone Magnus, people like me and you that are like, the plot, it was thin. But
and
once I reconcile,
like, I had fun. It's just he didn't
yeah,
have as much
right,
fun as the first one. I think was the idea. and
right.
and again, I'd have to revisit it, and it seemed
Once
like the
once
same
I
thing
under
to me too.
yeah, once I understood the target audience and sitting in that theater with all of those little kids, the light bulb went off. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
this movie wasn't made for it was made so that an adult can enjoy it. An
oh,
adult that played Mario can enjoy it, but it was made for the kids to soak it up. And that I'm like, that's the target
true.
audience.
But this is where I come back where they can do it just differently. Is the Lego Movie 1 and 2 and the Batman Lego Movie? They can have all the wild, crazy stuff that makes all the kids laugh. It's all little Easter eggs, stuff like that, and then also have something in there that's a story that just really hits, and that is still lacking, I think,
I see
in
it,
this.
and I guess when I look at
And
those
it doesn't
movies,
have to be
I,
there.
I don't see like those movies you pointed out, like the Lego movie.
You don't
Like
think the Lego Movie had
personally,
a deep, touching thing to it?
no,
Oh
no,
man,
I
okay.
don't. Yeah, I don't. I don't. That movie
Oh
was
my
it was a
god.
good, it was a fun movie. It was a really fun movie, but I did not think, oh, this plot is really. But it was fun. It was fun. It was funny. I love that movie. But I
I'm
think there's
laughing
just
because my son is in the background screaming at you. He wants to get on the phone call probably now because you said that.
I love the movies. I love those movies,
Yeah,
but I don't think those movies had like some interest. They did have a plot. I agree, and they were more
I'm not
developed
even
than
this.
Mario.
That's what I'm saying. That's kind of mainly
Absolutely,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
something even
Absolutely,
in them, at
yeah.
least what I think I found, was there something in there there was something deep to latch on
Way
to
more developed.
in some
Right.
stuff.
I
And
just
so it
understood that
can be done,
Nintendo.
and that's kind of what I was
Yeah,
saying. And again, if it's missing from it, it's just, I guess my point is that I personally will revisit Lego Movie more times than I would revisit the
definitely
Mario ones
understandable.
so far. Now,
Yeah,
if they get in there and they pull in Double Dragon and make a story and tell something that's really great, that would be cool. I think if they could do it, like you
I
said,
think a Star
Legend of
Fox movie
Zelda.
would be great. Well, the Legend of
It
Zelda
may.
movie is live action. Is live action. So that
Is
one,
that a movie
that
or are they doing a series? Because
they're
I have
doing they're
heard of
doing a
that.
movie.
They're doing a
They're
movie.
doing a movie
And that's
live
through
action. They
Prime,
already got
right?
the two. What'd you say?
That's with
Uh,
Prime, right?
I think it's MGM
MGM Prime. Yeah,
Amazon. Yeah,
yeah.
MGM Amazon. But yeah, that one. If that one doesn't have a plot, they're gonna have a problem with a bunch of Zelda fans. I can tell you that right now because Zelda has intricate plots. So that, but I think Nintendo understands that, and I think again, as I said, I think they understand their
Yeah.
target
As
audience. So
long as they
they know.
understand that,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
it'll
think
be
they'll
good.
do well. I think they'll do well. What
Now,
did you read the Spider-Man Superman? I meant to ask you about that earlier. I haven't
I
read that
didn't
yet or
read
picked
it.
it up.
I didn't read it.
Okay.
We got some. collectible, I guess, versions of variants and stuff. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm kind of. I didn't actually get a. There was one copy of the regular cover, and do you want to call?
No,
Okay, hold on a second.
no thing in the Lego movie. First of all, you don't
You
have
just need to.
you don't have to be the bad guy, and then you are the special. All of us are the special.
Yeah, some of it's actually just silly, man. All right.
I could
I don't
barely
know.
hear him.
You can barely hear him. You are
Yeah.
the special, and you don't have to be the bad guy. So, I think there's some other stuff there, and the second one to me too. But anyway, and then Lego Batman is really great. But anyway,
Yeah, look, man, anything
um,
with Batman in it. Well, let me not say anything because George Clooney. We're not gonna mention that Batman movie. We'll pretend
you
that one
done
didn't
it.
happen.
Yeah. Um, but no, yeah, I haven't read Superman, Spider Man. I even got I got a special pre-release book. There was like an oversized and had the kind of old artwork. It wasn't like the old picture, or maybe it was. I don't think it was of like something from years ago. But but a lot of collectible stuff. But yeah, I haven't really pulled it out to open it up and go through it. I think I'll go back to the comic book store, see if there's any left over, because there was, at least what I found, like 28 variant covers.
That is so. That's the one thing.
It's like so many
I love
covers.
variant covers, but
It's too
I've
many.
gotten to the point. Yeah, and I told the my local comic book shop. I told him in there. I was like, because I was picking up a book and he was like, "Well, all we have is this cover." I was like, "Man, I don't really care. I buy the books to read." I was like, "I don't like what cover
Yeah.
I get. I'm not looking to collect this cover and that cover. I don't care. I don't get.
Well,
I don't care about none of that."
the other thing is that there was is $9 for the regular, and it's like $10 for every variant cover. So, like, oh my goodness, it's just too much.
Comic books are yeah,
But
comic
yeah, I
books
may
are
go back and just grab one if it's left over, and then read that one. Like you said, I try to collect the variant. Hopefully, it'll be worth something, you know. But but yeah, I haven't read it. But back to a movie. I did watch another movie. This is a great movie. I don't know if
okay.
it's available with where you're at or not, but a Great Awakening, which is
I've
about
heard of it.
yeah.
It is available in one theater like 20 miles from me. Not too far.
Wow, that
Yeah.
far
But
away, man.
I mean that's not I mean
I
you got
guess
to
it's not
realize where I'm at.
as
That's not really that far.
okay, but
Yeah.
yeah, it should be in the theater, right by me, but it's over on the beach, and it was showing as disappearing Thursday. They were going to be done with it. Apparently, it's making them money because it's going through this next week. It's going to be
Oh
around,
wow.
tomorrow and so forth. They only have it a few showings a day, but but it must be making them some money because they still got it going on. Um,
See.
but
See,
yeah,
I'm looking at my local
it's a
theaters
good
cuz I
movie,
know.
and it's focused, of course, on Ben Franklin and um, George Whitfield, and George Whitfield being uh, the leader of the Great Awakening.
Looking through these theaters. Yep, yep. It's in a theater near me.
Okay,
Yeah, really close.
yeah, if you get a
I might have to.
chance, I mean, I recommend it. It's a good movie. Does it pretty well, and it's even more leaning toward Ben Franklin, and it talks about him in such a way that you hear talk about Ben Franklin and his beliefs and stuff like that and whatever. Um,
Yeah.
and but it specifically deals with the Constitutional Convention and his recommendation for prayer and what happened to it and stuff. Just that's of course toward the end, but
Right.
mainly, but not like that's a big spoiler of history. But how he got to write that is how the story goes, and but yeah, it's really good. They did a good portrayal of George Whitfield, I believe.
Who put that out? Let me see.
I say sight and sound is what comes to my mind when I hear it or think about that.
The Great
I don't think it was a
Awakening.
main theater, and that wasn't Angel, which
No, I
kind of glad.
think it was Details. Uh, Joshua Inc. History, drama, faith, spirituality. Why is it cast and crew trailers? Why doesn't it have unlikely film? That's crazy. Typically, if I go on Flickster, I thought it would say.
Yeah.
I guess I gotta
It's just Sight and
search
Sound
somewhere else.
Productions,
Is
like
it Sight and
yeah,
Sound Productions?
Sight and Sound or something. That's yeah, that's the main group. Which they were doing something with a play of Noah, I think, and the Ark. Um, and they usually show up like a event. It's there for a few days and then gone. But like I said, this one's sticking around at least in the theater near me. So
Well, it seems to be sticking around here too, because they seem to have a bunch of showings. Let me see. That was Sunday, uh Monday. Yeah, they got some showings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, bunch of showings actually, and like a couple theaters. So it must be making money.
hmm,
It's probably yeah. I would imagine. You know what I found out? This is what I found out with myself, especially watching movies. The movies that I see that have unknown actors and just random obscure either historical stories or some random stories somebody made. I'm like, man, these are some of the best movies. And I think
you
because the movies are not burdened down with expectations of other things, if that makes sense. Right? Like a movie like this, The Great Awakening. I mean, maybe there's some stars in here that have been in other things, but I don't recognize any of these.
I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not names I recognize. And I think sometimes when you go, this is why I love superhero movies that pick an obscure actor that just nails the role, because the movie is not bogged down by the baggage of a certain actor, some big name. It's like, oh,
Hmm.
there's this new guy. I don't know, but yeah, he killed his role. It was great. I think sometimes people go into a movie, like if there's an actor you just don't particularly care for, like I always bring up, I bring this up comedically. I don't have anything against George Clooney, but it was such a terrible Batman that any movie I see George Clooney and I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I won't go see that one. But he's been in some great movies. He's a great actor, but it's just one of those things where his past bogs a movie down for me. Like, George Clooney, I don't
His
know.
past or his current positions of some sort. Anyway, yeah. Uh, but yeah, those I've watched several other movies. I don't know if we want to go over any of them, but um,
Anything you're looking forward to in
I
the
I
geek
am. I'm
space?
looking. Well, I'm looking forward to In the Gray, which is not in the geek space, but
In the
it's
gray.
yeah, In the Gray. It's a now I'm forgetting his name. Did Sherlock movies with Robert Downey
Oh,
Jr.
Sherlock
Um,
was good.
he was the
Sherlock
director,
was good.
producer of those things. I'm forgetting his name. Uh, and he also did the Ministry I forget it now. It's a long
Extraordinary
title.
Gentleman.
No, it's
Yeah, the
that long title of the ministry of um, I forget now.
let's see. I see in the grayscale. Okay,
Um,
let me look this up because
what is his
I don't see that.
name? Man,
I'm looking
in
forward
the
to
gray.
dis. I'm looking forward to Disclosure Day. I'm looking forward to that one.
I'm sort of looking forward to it, but I don't think I'm going to be impressed by it. Is kind of my thing. But
Oh, in the gray. Yeah, I've seen previews for this.
yeah, what's that
Yeah.
director's name?
Hold on, let me go because I was just looking at the in the gray 2026 Guy Ritchie
Guy
action
Ritchie.
thriller
That's it.
starring Henry Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, this does look good.
Yeah.
In the gray looks good.
So that's the main one that's really close. I think that's coming out. But there's something else coming out like this next weekend or two, and I can't remember what it is now.
I'm
No,
looking forward to the Michael Jackson movie.
that was it. 24th. It's coming out.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that.
that one I'm like, yeah,
I'm
yeah. This
there.
one and his nephew, man alive. His nephew looks
I'm trying to like
exactly like
stay
him.
away from him from those, all the stuff. And I mean, I've heard that, and at the same time, I've seen them, side by side, and I'm like, they're not, perfect matches.
No,
Because of
no,
course I know
Don.
what Jermaine looks like too, so I'm like, yeah, he's Jermaine because he is Jermaine's child. But
No, Don, you don't understand. They like
no, I've seen it.
it's
I
uncanny.
understand. I
Yeah.
understand what you're saying. Yeah, and now I'll also say I've seen some of it in some of the behind the scenes and pictures of him just as he was, when he's getting ready for the role, rather than
Right.
like in costume, all made up, and in
Yeah, in the role.
how he was.
I
Yeah,
understand.
there's a little
Right,
difference
right,
between
right.
it, and that's what I'm trying to stay away from to not get too much of the story
Ah,
and stuff like that.
I
I
see.
want to
I
know
see.
when I go because
You want to go in blind.
yeah, I'm looking
Go in
forward to
blind.
them making a sequel to it too because it sounds like they had to cut it short and they couldn't tell some of the story and stuff like that. But
So it's funny. Me and Brooklyn were talking about this. Obviously, she didn't grow up at this time. She was like, "Dad, what was it like when you were growing up? Like the fame of Michael Jackson?" I was like, "You have no idea." I was like, "Michael Jackson. I don't know if there's any star that has ever been so big that there was nowhere on the earth he could go, and there was not a crowd ready to run him down."
yeah,
Like there are celebrities that can go to certain places, right? Like there are celebrities that show up to Northwest Florida, they roam around, do their thing, nobody bothers them. Michael Jackson couldn't have done that.
right.
There's no way. There is nowhere he
I
could have
agree.
gone where he would not have been mauled immediately. And
Yeah.
that's what I told her. I was like, I don't know if we've ever had. I was like, people would see Michael Jackson and faint. Like
Hmm.
I don't even understand what because you saw he looked at you and you fainted. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like he embodied something that nobody else has been able to embody ever.
Yeah, and he kind of transcended a lot of different things. I don't know if you know this that in on the Bad album, there's a song on there's unreleased and released on the 25th anniversary or something of the Bad album called Abortion Papers. And it's against abortion. I mean, a firm stand against abortion from the man's kind of perspective. It's like, you're gonna go and kill
Wow.
my child? I want my child. No, no, I'm not signing the abortion papers or something like that. I don't know the exactly. You can look up the lyrics, but it's not necessarily a really catchy song, even, but it has a message, and a lot of his songs have those different messages that
Yeah, they
that's
do.
just different than
Some of
how
them,
I
at least.
remember other artists. I can read the lyrics to some of these other famous art, songs and stuff. That's just like there's nothing in those things, and
Right.
you know, and but a good number of like Beat It had a message to it, and you might have to read behind it, the scenes and say what was he trying to say, and then he's talking about the gang violence and stuff like that, which is what he was addressing, and
Right.
he does it in a very short way, but and then things that he didn't write that were something else, Thriller, like he didn't write that, so there's not not necessarily a message behind that one, but
He just
but
had
there's a good
he just
number of
had
them.
yeah, he just had something that I don't understand what it like. I tried to quantify it. And the only thing I could say is if you go back to the 80s, it has a lot to do with the time he came out, the feeling of the songs. Because if you look at songs like uh um Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Tears of Fears, um Human League, um I Like It, El DeBarge. This is the era that Michael Jackson came out of. That, 80s pop, 70s disco, and he came out of this, and I I think Michael Jackson might have been like one of the first singular mega stars. Like just
Hmm.
where can you go on the planet Earth that somebody doesn't know who Michael Jackson is?
Right.
I don't know if that's possible. Like
Yeah.
I seriously don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, we might put him like on par with Elvis or something like that, and that kind of idea. Like I
Yeah,
think that's
Elvis
pretty
Elvis
true.
was
About around the world, he's known. You know, but yeah, different kind of music. But yeah, and Michael, of course, endeared himself to the world before that, being in the Jackson Five and the Jacksons. Before going solo, and was already a huge star. So,
yeah,
but yeah, um,
and his songs, his music, I don't think like when you think through Michael Jackson's albums, there might be a song here or there where you're like, yeah, this is not my favorite. But even the songs you would say this is not my favorite for anybody else would be a hit.
yeah,
it's like this dude had a and his I heard a story. This is a story a producer told. I was listening to this. I think it was in a biography of Michael Jackson. He was like, don't quote me on this because I can't remember the age, like 12, 13, maybe a little older, in the studio, sings, lays down his vocals, comes out of the booth. They play it, and he's like, "That's not my voice." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "The voice, it's off. That's not my voice. Like I recorded that, but that's not me." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And he was like, "You need to check your equipment." And the engineer was like, "Kid, this stuff has been calibrated time and time again." So finally, he kept harping on it. Somebody checked, and they have a calibration tool now. I don't. This was reel to reel and all of that, so I don't know the technical details,
hmm,
but they had a calibration tool where they checked the tension, I guess, on the reel to reel, which could change the timing. And lo
yeah,
and behold, it was off. Nobody else in the studio could hear it, but he could.
yeah,
And I was like, bro,
yeah. And I heard
like
like he didn't play instruments, and I want to say he played the piano though, like or at least he could at
he
some
might have. I
point.
don't know.
But
Yeah.
like he didn't play a bunch of instruments. I heard it somewhere is that, but he would come in and he would start laying down a beat or start laying down, beatbox and putting out the music, and they would just have to capture the stuff, you know, and he would come up with all this stuff. And it's like, and they've produced albums since he passed away that was just like this was recorded and it wasn't finished, it wasn't completed, the music wasn't put to it. And I've listened to some of those, and a lot of it's like if Michael was alive to put that out, it wouldn't have been what they put out. That you can
Right.
hear that it's something else. It's from some other artist, and
Right.
he has a and he changed over time, but there's still this distinct sound to him. Even through the years, and it's
Distinctively Michael.
and I
What do you
watch
think about
people
the
watch him too, and it's what you said about a lot of different things, but then also his dancing. It's like they'll watch his dancing, and be like,
oh,
"What in the
oh,
world is
oh,
this?"
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was okay, I tell you what Michael Jackson reminds me of. I think it was the CEO of Blizzard. I think it was the CEO of Blizzard. They asked him, "What's the greatest game of all time?" And he was on Lex Friedman's podcast, and he said it was Zelda Breath of the Wild, and he was like, "What? Like you're the CEO of Blizzard?" He said some games do one thing right, and they're remembered for that thing, right? Like they did this technical thing. And he was like, Breath of the Wild did so many things perfectly that it's like, this is just unmatched. I feel like that with Michael as an artist. Some artists can sing really well in the studio. Live, they're okay. Some artists are great dancers and decent vocalists. They're okay. They'll do. Sing better than most people. They're okay. Michael was the choreographer, the singer,
Hmm.
and he wasn't just good, like, oh, he's an okay dancer. No, he was the best. Like
Yeah,
he wasn't just an okay studio singer. He was the best. He wasn't just okay at live performances. He was the best. Like to
yeah,
have all of that in one person, it's just like, man, I don't know how that dude was different. He was different.
yeah.
But
Go ahead.
I was gonna ask. I'll let you say what you're gonna say because I was gonna move to
I
another movie
was just the last nostalgia remembered. I remember him doing the Super Bowl, and he pops out and lands,
of
and
this. Was the
just
scoreboard? Did he
well, they
pop out with the
popped out. They
scoreboard
popped out
first?
all over the scoreboard,
Did,
like his dancers,
oh
and then he pops
man!
out center stage and stands there for like
And the
minutes,
crowd goes
crazy. And then
nuts.
he
I
flips
remember
his
that.
head, and they're going crazy. And he take
Yeah,
and just yes, I remember that I was watching somebody react to it recently, and like, yep, remember
and I
all
think
of that very vividly, and then he of course
and I
goes
think
into
that's
it.
the birth of halftime shows as we know it today. I think that was like the birth of that movement because I
Maybe
want to say that they did halftime shows maybe before that, but it wasn't like that.
it wasn't
Like
that.
Michael Jackson,
And
yeah,
the
Michael
end of
Jackson's
it,
halftime
he was
show was
singing "Heal the World," and he had the entire crowd had these placards that created pictures that were drawn by children that filled the stadium seats all around the stadium. Just
crazy.
like
That's
wow,
crazy.
how did that get
Yeah,
organized? How did it like everybody participated? There was a different time, and he was a different kind of man. And
yeah, yeah,
and I'm hearing biographical stuff about him like afterward in the later parts and stuff. It's like wow, yeah, that makes more sense. And things that like you hear about the Hollywood problems, pedophilia and stuff like that, and him trying to keep children away from that stuff
right,
is
right.
the
Like he was
things.
actually trying to,
And it's
yeah,
like
trying to save children. Yeah,
yeah, and then and to hear what's his name, Corey Feldman talk about it. He said, "Yeah, I was talking to the police, and they're like, what about Michael Jackson? Nothing. There's nothing about my. But let me tell you about this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. No, we don't want to hear anything about those guys. Just Michael Jackson.
right.
It's like, yeah, it's like,
You hear what
oh,
Macaulay Culkin said? Macaulay Culkin said Michael Jackson saved him from a lot of situations.
yeah,
And I'm like, man, that I mean, you could say this was made up, but this is somebody who knew Michael Jackson very well, spent time with
right,
him. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm look, I wasn't in this guy's personal life. I don't know what he did or didn't do, but based on the testimony of people and even kids that were around him at that time, it's like, man, he doesn't seem like the person that they were trying to, make him out to be.
Yeah,
Like you said, you hear
exactly.
more stuff now, and it's like, yo, Michael was that dude. He was really that dude. But what I was gonna jump to is, what do you think? What do you make of? I'll end with this because I'm about to get some sleep. What do you make of Avengers Doomsday? There's a lot of information, a lot of leaks.
Well,
What do you
yeah,
think?
I've
What do you think
avoided some
thus
of
far?
that too. I have
Okay, so
avoided,
you've avoided a lot of it.
but I think what we've talked about is like there's been so much stuff that sounds really convoluted to me. Is what
Mm,
I don't like that idea. Um,
mm,
I guess, but that's the idea that it's convoluted and that there's all kinds of different worlds that there's stuff. Like he's supposed to be with the Fantastic Four, right? That's where I come from with him. But the theory I heard was he's actually from another universe, not the Fantastic Four's universe that we've been introduced to. So
right.
they're gonna do some crossover with that. It's like why? That becomes convoluted to me. And it's like
Yeah, I
I think
understand
we're
that.
going too far with you got to
Yeah.
understand that these things are happening. I'll watch it. I'll be glad to watch it and see and make, see whether or not they pull it all off. I'm more anticipating Spider-Man, Brand New Day.
Oh,
Looking forward to
yeah,
that
yeah,
and hoping they
yeah.
don't
That
do
that
anything
movie
bad
looks
about
like
that.
it's gonna be really, really, really good. I think right now, I'll end with this. I think the entire MCU right now kind of hinges on Spider-Man. I think initially
Well, that I
the
think
MCU,
and Doomsday, because I think
well, yeah,
Spider-Man they've already kind of left him out of the garbage because the three movies have been fantastic, mostly
yeah,
anyway.
they have been, they have
Whatever
been, yeah.
criticism somebody wants to give it, but and I think that this one's going to do really well. But Doomsday to me is maybe going to tell us whether or not they've learned and they've stopped.
Mm.
I've heard that Daredevil is the second season is really good. People didn't like the first season for certain reasons.
I thought the
Um,
first season was good. I didn't think it was
I
bad.
don't think I watched it all. I think a lot of what I was watching, I was like, I'm okay with it, but um, it's not like the original. Going back and there's just something. But but I've heard better things about the second season and haven't gotten into it at all. But I think Doomsday is going to tell the story whether or not they've gotten away from what they've been injecting into the movies and making in the series to make it so distasteful to the vast majority of fans. And hopefully it's not too late if they have turned that around. And hopefully if that happens also, this is the other thing is that if it's really good and it's really successful, they don't then pull back from that and say, "Okay, we got your money now and we're going to do what we want to do again. We got you
We
hooked
roped you
again.
in.
You're going to check the next 5 movies out." Yeah. Um that's where I'm at,
We got him. We got him.
I'll
Yeah.
watch it, but if I will probably not watch it twice if I don't like, because I watched Thunderbolts and I was like, "Ah, no,
Mm,
I
mm.
didn't care at all.
I,
So
I I didn't see Thunderbolts, but I heard it was good. I heard people say
there's
it was decent.
mixed
Yeah. I
stuff. Some
yeah.
stuff in it I liked, and then there was just too much that I'm like, no, that's just not. And Fantastic Four was better than I expected it to be, but I could see a lot of editing to it, and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
like they were trying to do something, they pulled back from it, and
Right.
and I've already
It was a
come
better
on that
movie
that
than it
time.
would have been had they went their original direction.
And
I
yeah,
was
their
really
original direction, but yeah,
I was really happy with the way they did Galactus. I'm not gonna lie. Like the
I
special
liked it
effects,
too.
them using practical effects, I was
That's
like,
one of the
yo,
biggest I don't know why people criticize that more than they criticize this guy they call Reed Richards in it. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. But I
oh, they criticizing Galactus.
yeah, they're criticized
Yeah, that's
Galactus
that's
and whatever about it. I thought it was pretty good. You know,
yeah,
the
I
weakest
enjoyed
thing
it.
in the movie to me was their Reed Richards. It shouldn't have been him.
I would agree. I would agree.
To
I
me, that
said when they
was.
picked Pedro Pascal, he doesn't have the right look. I so personally,
I I
Reed
personally would have
Richards,
all
I
four of
expect
them different, but they
I
work
at least
somewhat.
the thing about it though is if you pick the right Reed Richards, the other characters they still matter, but you can do a lot as long as you have the right Reed Richards. And he was Pedro Pascal wasn't bad, but Reed Richards is a little more linky than Pedro Pascal. He had this look. He looked Reed Richards is more more science geek and less suave, if that makes sense. And Pedro
Hmm.
Pascal is like more suave and less science geek. And I was like, I don't know if that really works. Like, I don't. I enjoyed the movie, and he did a good job. He Pedro Pascal did a good job in that role, but I don't know if I believed him as Reed
Right.
Richards. I was just like, I don't know if I. Hmm. Maybe not so much. Maybe not so much him for that one, but that's the direction they went in. So now
Yeah,
that
they
they're
they've
either
they've
gonna
decided what they were gonna do. So, but we'll
yeah
see what happens, with X-Men when they introduce them too. I just hope
yeah I'm
Doomsday, the way I hear it, is like bring everybody in and then kill everybody off. It's like what? And then
yeah it's
and then
kind of
what's gonna?
crazy.
I don't even. So I've kind of stayed away from a lot of the spoiler kind of plot leak or whatever happened recently, and I
I
don't.
understand.
I didn't even watch to find out if the person that saw it thought it was cool or not. It was like, I watched enough to where I'm like, I just don't want to hear anymore. I want to see what they really put out, and but
Yeah,
I'm
going
really
fresh.
looking forward to. But I know we gotta go, so we're not gonna talk about this much. I'm really looking forward to June 5th, Masters of the Universe. That's
Yo,
where I'm going.
okay, we have to do an individual video on that one because I've heard. I'll end with this because I can spend a long time talking about this one. I've heard complaints that are warranted. I get it, but I don't get it at the same time.
Okay.
Right? Like I've heard, like I know Tyrone Magnus had a problem with Master at Arms, and I was like, I get it, but look at Heimdall.
Yeah,
Like when
I'll
we
have to
saw
rewatch what he says.
yeah when we saw Heimdall, it's like, well, this is not what Heimdall looked like, but it worked though. It
Hmm.
worked. Like sometimes there's things that are changed that if you just go into the movie blind, like all right, I'm just gonna go in blind and I'm gonna take it, face value what it is. Like okay, well, okay, this works. Ultimately, what I always say is I don't want characters to be swapped, race or gender. Just make another character, add some other character into the movie, but keep the characters who they are. But that doesn't mean every time that's done, it's bad. Like
Right.
sometimes it actually works, right? It's not
Yeah.
always bad when it's done. Sometimes it
True.
works.
Yeah. And that. See,
So
I never had a problem with Heimdall, but I wasn't that
yeah,
much of a fan of Thor to know that there was a difference. It just it's a side character to me anyway, and he did great in the role. But
yeah,
but yeah, we can
he did.
talk
It
a
worked.
full a separate show about that.
Yeah,
But
we
that's
can
one
do
I'm
that.
definitely looking forward to. So,
Okay,
and I've
okay.
heard
Well, I
almost nothing actually negative about it. Like everybody seems to be anticipating it highly, even if they have some criticisms, they seem to be like, yes, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and I think Tyrone Magnus is looking forward to it as well. I
Yeah,
think
it
that was
sounds
just
like
one
it
of his
too.
criticisms. Yeah,
I have to
of that.
rewatch
So
what he said because I just don't remember it. But he didn't say anything the
same
last time, so yeah,
word up.
good.
All right.